Today we're taking a look at a very bright chronograph from the brand MMI. They're a brand that I have featured here on my channel a number of times. This is a new version of their chronograph and they've made some improvements. We're gonna take a look at those improvements in this video. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the newest MMI turret chronograph. MMI, no stranger to this channel. I've featured a number of their watches here on Watch Chris. They make very high quality dive style watches. They're located in Singapore, and the thing that they're probably best known for, at least with me, is their date windows. So they don't actually have a date window. What they do is a radial date, and then there is a little bar or a block that identifies the date. So on the outer portion of this dial, you do have a chapter ring. It's sloped. That comes down to a date complication ring, basically, for lack of a better term. At the bottom, you can see here, there's a little orange bar. That's just indicating the date. That's it. It's very, very simple, but it's really symmetrical. So it does look a little bit busy. However, I think it looks a lot better than having a date window, in my opinion. This is a sandwich dial. So this is a very complicated layered dial. This is called the Turret Marine Chronograph. This is the version 2. I actually featured the version 1 here on my channel. That was with a yellow dial. This is just a version 2. They're only doing 2 colors, yellow and this blue. That is it. And I think there is a pre-order period and then a launch period and something like that. But the price on this right now is $329. It's $309 if you want it on the strap. I highly recommend, for the extra $20, get the bracelet. The bracelet is actually pretty nice on here and it only costs $20. This is a lume monster. All of their watches get very good lume, and in fact, both of the models in this run, the version 2 of the Marine Chronograph, gets a fully lumed dial. So this blue dial is fully lumed, the yellow dial also fully lumed. This is powered by a Seiko meca-quartz movement. So it is a quartz movement. Obviously, a meca-quartz movement is a combination between quartz and a mechanical chronograph module that sits on top of a quartz movement. This is the VK67A is what it's called. And what they've done here is to add a little bit more symmetry to the dial. You're getting the register at the 9 o'clock in that lume, so it is fully lumed. And then you have 2 sub-registers at the 12 and 6. Those are in black. All of the sub-registers get orange hands. You get an orange chronograph seconds hand as well. And then of course you're getting lumed hands and lumed indices. Those are applied, those indices, and filled with lume as well. The bezel is operational. So this is not a fixed bezel, it's a dive style bezel, and it is fully lumed as well. So all the indices that you see on the bezel are fully lumed. The hands are fence post hands, but they're more like stick hands, I guess I would say. And like I said, those do have lume on them. Let's listen to the bezel action because, again, this is a chronograph with 100 meters of water resistance. You're getting screwed in crown, screwed in pushers, and a screwed in case back. You're getting a sapphire crystal on the front of obviously no display case on the back because this is a VK movement. But you're getting a rotating bezel, which is really good, and that is made out of ceramic. I do want to mention that as well. So let's listen to the bezel action. So it's a thin bezel. It is a little bit hard to grip, but the fact that it has a rotating bezel on a chronograph, you know, that's not entirely that rare, but it is somewhat rare to see that. So I do like to see that, and it's here and it looks pretty good. Now the case here is somewhat angular. It reminds me a little bit of a Samurai from Seiko. You may get that, you may get those vibes. There are a couple of other watches that it kind of reminds me of. The setup of the chronograph kind of reminds me of a Tudor chronograph a little bit with a Valjoux movement because obviously the registers and how they're positioned. And then you have the logo right there. The crown is also signed and it is lumed. You have a very big crown on here and it has obviously the lume in there. You have the same logo on the case back. The bracelet on here, very solid bracelet, H-link bracelet, all brushed throughout. And then you have screwed links. You have a pretty generic run-of-the-mill clasp. I would like to see this slightly upgraded maybe in future editions. I have seen this on many watches now. I'd like to see a little bit of on-the-fly micro adjust. That being said, it is a very solid very good clasp. There's nothing wrong with it. It works really well, and obviously you can get a pretty good fit because you do have 6 position or 5 positions of micro adjust. So a very functional clasp, and obviously a very good looking clasp, and it is signed with the brand name. Measurements on this watch, it's a 40mm chronograph, basically spot on at that bezel. On the case, it's essentially the same thing. You have these very small crown guards. Doesn't really bother the size on your wrist. It feels pretty much like a 40mm watch. The thickness is 13.9mm. It is on the thicker side, but you do have a domed sapphire crystal, and it is slightly raised off the bezel and case. You can see that right there. 10 layers of AR coating on the underside of that sapphire crystal, so you can see even in my studio lights, it's really not making that many reflections. The lug to lug here is under 47mm at around 46.8mm, and then you have a large crown that's almost 7mm. I think it's around 6.7mm is what I measured, so very large crown. I did mention before that this does get screwed in pushers and a screwed in crown, so you do get 100 meters of water resistance when you want to actually operate the time and obviously operate the chronograph pushers. You do have to unscrew them. That's a really good safety feature for people who are actually going to use this swimming or diving or anything like that. However, for day-to-day use, it might be a little bit annoying, so I do want to mention that. I do like the case shape and the overall look of this watch. I think it looks a lot more expensive than it actually is, and I think that the date has a lot to do with that. I like the design, it's very thought out, and I think it's very good looking. On my wrist today is my newest purchase, or my most recent purchase. This is the Big Eye from Longines. This is the titanium version with the petrol blue dial. Really beautiful dial on this watch. And there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it wears like a 40mm watch, maybe slightly bigger than that, but it's in that neighborhood. I do want to mention that the lug to lug is a true lug to lug because you do have female end links on the bracelet, which is very nice. You can get this on a strap, which like I said is $309, but I recommend getting it on the bracelet for $329. Even if you don't intend on using the bracelet very often, it is definitely worth it for only $20 more. Well, it's been a while since I've been completely blown away by Lume. This is insane. A lot of Lume on this dial. Obviously, it is fully lumed. It's X1C3 Superluminova, I believe. So you're getting that on the dial, the hands, the indices, the bezel, lots of Lume, and the crown. So you do have a lumed crown as well. That is also very bright and liberally applied with Lume as well. So a lot of Lume. Lots going into it, which is obviously very good. There's some improvements that have been made. I believe the bezel is slightly different from the previous version, but I don't think there was that many changes being made. I think these were very popular for them because of the price, the look, the amount of lume and attention to detail to go into them. So they decided to release a version 2 with some slight upgrades, but in their most popular colors. This blue was obviously very popular for them. I don't know if it was fully lumed last time, and the yellow was also very popular as well, and I don't think that was fully lumed. I think that the only one that was fully lumed last time was the white dial, so that's why they've gone and made these fully lumed. I'm pretty sure that is the case, but either way, I think this is a great watch for a very good price, and like I said, they make very solid watches with a very cool date complication that no other brand is really doing right now. And you can see the date down there at the 6 o'clock. I don't remember what date it is right now, but you can see that the date is there. It's pretty useless in the dark because you're not going to be able to read the date. However, there it is. It is lumed, and during the day, it's there when you want to see it. It's not when you don't. And that is what I like about a date window or a date complication. I don't want to see the date all the time. I only want to see it when I want to see it, and really it just sort of melts away when you are not looking for it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the date complication? What do you think of turret in general? Tell me what you think of MMI. Tell me what you think of the turret chronograph that we're looking at today. Anyway guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great day.